All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Hacktober. Uh, it's long overdue for me to do some work on Blueprint. Yeah. So for the next 4 Wednesdays, 5 Wednesdays, I don't know, I haven't looked at the calendar, but for October, the Wednesdays in October, I'm going to work on bringing Blueprint back into good standing. That means zero issues, theoretically, all PRs merged, and some of the features that maybe I've wanted in Blueprint for the past couple weeks, get those merged in. So in the meantime, let me know that you can see me and hear me okay. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to double check my audio, and then I'm going to jump in. So welcome whoever is here. And where is my audio button? I always forget. Nope, that is like a sound effects screen. That's not it. Normally it tells me, I always forget where this stuff goes. I think it uses whatever the system uses. Anyway, I'm gonna assume that the sound is good. So, okay, so I think first things first, it's not very fun to watch me go through issues, so I think what makes more sense is to go through the PRs. That's code at least. So I think what we're going to do is take two passes here. On the first pass, we're going to review the PR, take a quick look at the code. If tests are passing and the code seems innocuous, seems pretty straightforward, I can understand what they've written, I'm going to go ahead and merge it. If it has failing tests but the code seems good, I'll keep it. And we'll work on it. And of course, if it seems like it needs more work and something we want, I'll keep it. If tests are failing and it's just I don't understand what they're doing with the code and I disagree with the feature, I'm closing it. Because again, all this stuff is at the least, 6, 7, what is it, January 7th, 9 months old at this point. So let's just kind of, let's have at it here. So I'm hearing the chat, so hopefully somebody can hear me. Okay, cool, all good. Let's rock. Okay, so let's take a look at this update to anonymous migrations. Okay, so build's failing. They made a quick change to the stub. That's nice and all, but this is not acceptable. So I am closing it. However, I do agree that we should adopt anonymous migrations. So since these tests are failing and it's not a very good PR, there's no description provided. It's pretty straightforward in the title, but it's always nice to see a little something there. It would have been nice to have passing tests. Unfortunately, none of that exists in this, so I'm closing it. But we will ultimately adopt this feature. So let's take a look at this update migration stub, a very small default migration. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So what's happening here? So they removed all this like poly class name. Okay, this one actually is adopting anonymous migrations, and they updated all the fixtures. So beautiful. This is a good example of a good PR and a bad PR. So I'm sorry, other developer that submitted the previous PR, but again, it lacked additional detail in the description. It wasn't thorough. The tests were immediately passing. You had clear indication that this PR had a very low chance of being merged, much less very obvious that it was incomplete. Whereas this PR, same exact thing, now merges this correctly. The only thing I would potentially disagree with in this PR is the removal of that class name placeholder. And then one other thing I always forget from a code formatting perspective, does Laravel like this curly brace on the same line or the line before? I know they went back and forth about that. Let's see what they got going on. Again, this is all about following Laravel conventions. So let's just take a quick peek at one of their migrations. They do have it on the next line. I am cool with that. So you know what? This is awesome. I think all the tests are passing. It looks like all checks. Oh, sorry. The analysis has passed. What is wrong? Why didn't all of the stuff run? So only the analysis on that has passed. I wonder why the test suite didn't run. But again, I feel pretty good about the general changes here. So I'm gonna go ahead and squash merge this, update, or let's call this adopt anonymous migrations. Boom. Okay, great. Let's go back to the PRs. Again, first pass, if there's something broken, you know, we'll come back and do that actual code here in a second. Let's just get through these. So added strict types. Thanks. If you could please fix the styling issues and ideally write a test where you toggle this option. Yeah, let's take a look at this code. I think I remember this issue, and what this person wanted was the ability to declare strict types at the top of their generated files. And it's funny because I think I went back and closed the issue on this, basically stating that you could just update the stubs. You know, if you want strict types in the right places, just copy over the stubs and tweak them the way you want them. I don't know if there's a reason to have this built in. It doesn't seem like a lot of code in fairness, but again, the tests are failing and there is no test for it. I think for those reasons, I'm gonna close this, but this PR is here. It'd be very easy to copy over these changes, again, if we wanted to revive this or if someone wanted to take another crack at it. So I don't feel like Blueprint needs to do this. Laravel doesn't use strict types by default. Again, there is a way to do this. Maybe it's a little cumbersome, but you can update the class files for your stubs. Like it's not a lot of work to do that. So I'm closing this. I mean, it's the same issue if you ran artisan make, right? You would have to update the stubs. I mean, if you want to declare strict types. The other thing too is like, I'm pretty sure the workbench, the shift workbench has a free task for like strict types. Yeah, declare strict types. It's not premium, it's a free task. So you could run this at any point in time. So again, Laravel doesn't do it with artisan make. There's no reason Blueprint needs to do it. Closing. Add new factory to models. Tests are failing. What does new factory to models mean? By default, Laravel assumes that the models are located in database factory. Yep. The new factory function allows you to specify the corresponding factory if it does not meet this convention. And they've got strict types in here. So this PR is kind of weird because it's a PR off of the other PR, which I just closed. Sorry, buddy. Oh, I should at least leave a comment. My bad. I am not going to merge the strict types PR, and it seems this one builds off that. In addition, one of Blueprint's core premises is to leverage Laravel conventions. As such, automatically creating the new factory method for all models does not align with that goal. Let's just call this goal. There we go. All right, cool. Keep going. A couple left. So default to plural, API resource hugs, blah, 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 blah. It appears the tests are passing. Oh, I think in the discussion here, I don't think they updated the views to follow the plural. So I think I think this is okay with me. I think I just want to make some small tweaks. Let's keep going. Add some extra tests and merged master. What is this? Yeah, I don't know what this is. I think, oh, yeah, let's find a draft file. Here it is. I think this allows the ability to override some configuration in its own little, block, if you will, here, where you could override things like just for this. I do think there's value in this. This PR probably needs some serious review, though. I do know that Ghostwriter is definitely in the past has helped with Ghostwriter's helped in the past with this package and has generally or typically written some good PRs. So I do trust their work, but given the age of this, almost 8 months old, I probably want to review it just a little bit. So let's leave that one open. And then let's take a look at this. Again, tests are passing. No description, unfortunately. However, I'd appreciate if you could add a test fixture. So what are they doing here? Use table name. Table. Oh. This is where they're adding meta information. And again, they don't even have a test to demonstrate or wording to demonstrate how this updates the new YAML, or how this would be like a new blueprint draft file. Like, so again, just since we're going through this stuff painfully, like if you submit something and you make a change, like you're not fixing add table name on issue 390, like right in here, hey, here's the old way you had to do it. In this case, couldn't do it at all. Here's the new way, model _ table name this, and it changes the table name. And again, I would want to see a test where you overrode this thing that you added. I mean, even if you just had a test in here that demonstrated that, I could get past the missing description. But it's not here. So again, just trying to use the opportunity to teach. I'm not necessarily putting anybody down. Definitely appreciate the contribution. I think there is probably some good code in here, but unfortunately I'm unwilling to accept it because again, it doesn't demonstrate the draft syntax and it doesn't have a test fixture. So I'm going to say closing due to age and missing test fixtures. However, I will likely implement this shortly with a new meta option. All right, I'm gonna close with comment. Okay, and then there were two. Let's just start at the top, I guess, right? Let's start with this one. So how can GitHub makes it so annoying to like pull this code down. Let's see here. I think I can do something like this. Yeah. Git pull. What is this? Okay, I see what they're doing here. Okay, let's start working. So let's git pull this down. And again, something I merged might have created, tests, failures. I don't know. We're going to find out. And to that point, let's bring up Docker. So get ready to listen to the iMac sing. And while Docker's firing up, let's do a git checkout -b. We'll call this plural resources. And we'll check that out off of master. And then I do think we're going to need this git pull bit. And hopefully that works. It's got a nice little merge branch that's so ugly. All right, and let's kind of see what's going on here. So it does seem to have this default API thing jig. Okay, so what do they have here? He really just has one. I don't know why that did a merge. Oh, I guess because, yeah, okay. It did a merge because master is now ahead of wherever this was at that point in time. Okay, so what we can do is let's just do a git push origin head, push this up, and we can go ahead and kind of create our own. And we'll say support plural resources. This supersedes, I'm just going to get this running in the background so we can see its test and everything run up here. By adding support for plural resource names. All right, so supersedes. There we go. I'll add to that later, but let's go ahead and create this. And in the meantime, given the age, I am closing. However, I have used this work to create 574. All right, we'll close that, get rid of the noise, bring up our new one, and let's kind of see where things left off. Hey Samuel, hey Nathan, Mohammed, Adrian, what's going on everybody? Sorry, I've been focusing on these things. Not the most fun, but now we're gonna get into the code. So let's keep hacking here for another 30 minutes or so. Pluralize base slug for route API resource. I don't know if that counts. Let's just start picking this apart here. So let's get into our config. Let's find this and let's call this pluralize plural resources. And I think by default see, this is always the weird thing about adding a config. I feel like by default maybe it should be false. And then you would toggle it, because then we're a little more backwards compatible. It's not like you upgrade to 2.2 and then suddenly you're getting plural resources, right? So I think we make this false. And I'll clean up the Taylor-esque wording later. Again, that's not fun to look at. So let's keep going here. Okay, so in the route generator, config plural API slug. If it is plural, then it would make a plural version. Otherwise, it's going to make a singular version. All right. It only does it for the API resource, though. I don't think it should only do it for API resources. I feel like it should probably do it for all the things, right? Okay, output generates, so that is good. So plural resource certificate, API resources singular. So that's not really necessary anymore. So let's just do a git rm on that. We really would only care. We would really turn this one into plural is what we would do. We would really say copy this and turn it into API routes plural, because again we're flipping the script here, and then same thing here. We would just revert this. So git checkout master dash that. All right, let's see where we are. Okay, so we basically inverted everything. Now we need to set up our tests to work correctly for this plural version instead. So let's go clean this up. So let's copy this. Let's go find this test. And again, let's get some stuff out of our way. So output generates API routes plural. Output generates API routes with plural slug. I like that. Okay, and we'll call this plural resources. And in this case, we would set it to true. And I think this is all fine except for plural. And everything else should be good. Again, we're not trying to change that in any way here. Now we would probably want to change it for, we probably would want to add one here that's also for plural. We'll come back to that in a second. And then I think, so again, we want to make this beyond just API routes. It's any kind of resource. And again, resource not necessarily as in route resource, resources in component. You know, maybe it should be called like plural naming or plural names true. I don't know. Let me know what you think about that in the chat. Resources is a little confusing. I don't want to confuse that with route resources. I want to say use plural names, and then we would use the plural names kind of everywhere according to Laravel's convention of using plural names, which would like include like, you know, the view folder, for example, stuff like that. But in the meantime, I'm going to attempt to do composer update, and we'll run the test suite. So again, let me know in the chat what you think about that configuration name. Maybe plural names is probably, I'm feeling like that's a little more appropriate than plural resources. Use plural names. We'll kind of see what it looks like. But for now, this test should pass once I get composer updated. Plural routes. Yeah, again, it's not just routes. It's going to be plural names. So I think that's why I'm going to remove the plural resources aspect of it. I'm using resource as in components, kind of an old school, you know, MVC kind of name. I think plural names is probably the best. So while we're waiting on Docker, let's just go change that. Where'd you go? There it is. Or plural naming, maybe? Yeah, I don't know. Plural. It's just plural names, I think, for now is fine. Plural names. I think it's an easy enough, you know, it's an easy enough change. Plural names. All right. Almost there. There we go. Vendor, bin, PHP unit, that one. Okay, we got a couple issues here. Test generator output generates routes with plural slug. Method append routes, blah, blah, blah. Should be called one time. Okay, so it didn't seem to work. And it looks like maybe I forgot to revert another one. So let's go back. Oh, you know what it is? It's it needs to be changed in the code. That helps. So config whoops, plural names. There we go. All right, now we're down to just one output generates API routes. So it is using plural there for some reason. Let's go see why. Maybe the logic is still off. So if config plural names, otherwise use singular. So let's go check the test. Maybe I do something. Output generates API routes. Sorry, I'm all over the place here. Output generates API routes. Output generates, oh, sorry. Output generates API routes. It's this one. Did I not revert this, maybe? What happened here? Routes, API routes. Oh, it is old. Did I forget to revert that? I thought I reverted that. Oh, I just copied it. I didn't actually end up reverting it. Okay. Well, whatever. It's a single character change. There we go. Okay, so we're passing, this works, so now we can extend upon that, and while we're gonna do that, let's go ahead and run the whole test suite just to make sure that all that other stuff I merged isn't broken. If it is, we'll fix that off of master, but let's try to get this one done. I think the next step of this is to maybe do some kind of like cruddy one and demonstrate plural, I guess. That'd probably be the easiest thing to do. Yeah. So let's say drafts cruddy plural. Let's go see what cruddy does. Or you know what? It's probably better yet to use the readme example. That's probably a good one. Whoops. Let's check out the readme plural. Let's see what the readme plural does. Yeah, we got controllers post. Yeah, okay. So let's do readme example plural, and this will be the readme example plural. So let's open this. It's under routes. I kind of want one. I would kind of want to demonstrate one that's not a resource, maybe. Maybe this. Where's cruddy? No, they're all resources. Invocable. Well, whatever. We'll start with this one. Let's copy this, paste that. It's kind of like the same test, but whatever. We'll do plural, and that should say posts, right? Oh, crap. Sorry. Lock it down to just, okay, cool. So file, get contents, plural, failed to open stream. Oh, I don't need to make that plural, sorry. Oh, I can't do it this way because I have to do the configuration. So let's do this. Let's actually, where's my data generator? Maybe I'll just do one for plural. Or better yet, I could just tack on a thing here that said plural, right? Whether I want to turn it on or off. Well, no, that uses the routes file. That's whatever. Let's just make a separate one. Let's just say output generates routes with plural API route. Okay, so output generates, let's take this part off, routes with plural slug. And for now, I'll probably end up making this customizable, but for now, let's just make this readme example. Let's see if I got that right. And then this goes back to web. Okay, so now posts is wrong. So I thought we already changed that. Did we not? I did. What's wrong with you? I'm not checking the right thing here. Expects append, plural names true, readme example plural. Readme example, plural names. Oh, of course it doesn't work. Sorry, I'm all over the place here. Of course it doesn't work. We have not updated the route generator to generate it because it's just doing an API resource bit here. So we kind of no longer care the name or the slug in this regard. So yeah, I think this just becomes kind of the same slug here. So let's just pull this off. And we'll just say, where does slug even get set up? Slug gets set up here. So let's just do this all in one spot, right? Because like, build route line, what does that do? Yeah, I mean, if you're plural, we're just gonna do it across the board, right? So let's just say blueprint plural, kebab. Kind of silly to do it twice there, but whatever. Where does slug actually get used? So it gets set, it gets called here, and it gets used in our class name. So good, we're already, I think we got them all now. So this should just pass. Of course it doesn't. What did I break? Route resource users. Output generates web. Draft. Copy and pasted something wrong here. So slug is getting used in a weird way here now. Oh, you actually don't want to be so forceful with it. You actually don't want to force it to say singular. That's actually a tricky thing. Okay, so here's what happens. Right now, Blueprint, right now, and this is going to have to be in the wording, and that's why I like doing it last. Right now, Blueprint doesn't necessarily force singular names. It uses whatever name you've specified for your controller. So if I would have said posts controller, it uses posts. If I say post, then it uses singular. It's not necessarily, it doesn't have an opinion right now. It just uses what you tell you, which is why I didn't ever build this in the first place. So now that you have this plural names, the proper default value is really like null, because you're not necessarily saying false to plural names, meaning use singular. You're just saying don't force plural names. So this is kind of that weird place where like people want to use a singular controller name, but they want the routes to kind of be generated as plural. Again, this is why I never built this feature, because it's really brain bending. Like, it's just a one character change. If you want your routes to be plural, just go do it. Like, because now you're in this weird land of like, do we force the singular? I don't know. I don't think we should force the singular. That's why everything's failing now, right? This should be all green, and it is, if we don't force singular when you say false. But now, I think that gives you the most flexibility. I'm gonna go into the blueprint. I think the default is null. Yeah. I'll change this wording. So yeah, it doesn't affect anything here. Okay, so this is the proper behavior. So the way this works is if you say you want plural names, then we make sure you got a plural name. Otherwise, we just use whatever your controller prefix is. If it's already plural, then we use plural. You forced that, right? That's the Laravel convention, is to have a resource be, kind of the prefix of that controller. Now, in fairness, somebody referenced this, so let's just go look. In fairness, if you go look at the documentation on resource controllers, if you take a look, I think they have like a photo controller, but here they say photos. So the way you would achieve this is if you set plural names to true, because you could still have the plural controller name, because you would just say photo in your draft controller, but then you turn on plural names and you get the automatic, hey, look, for all these other things, use the plural version of that. Okay, so the last thing we need to do is in the view generator test, the last thing that I think that makes this thorough, output writes nothing for empty tree. Output writes views for render statements. All good. It outputs skipped views. I don't know what that means. All right, and then what we kind of want is we want something like this, but we need to be able to do the same thing we did in the route generator test, which is do that like this config. What is that? I don't remember it off the top of my head. There it is. So we would turn on plural names here, and we would say output writes views output names. Let's say output names. Output uses plural creates uses plural folder name for views. There we go. Something like that. Okay, I don't really know what this does, but let's just kind of change it. So we'll just say users and users and users. And that's all fine, because nothing's actually going to change within the content of this. It's just kind of where it puts it. So we just need to kind of change all these. So just to demonstrate that, like posts and all this stuff gets put kind of where we set it gets put, right? So users view posts. Okay, cool. So when we output this with that setting, this should happen. So let's turn that on. And of course, this fails. They're all singular. So now we just need to go fix that in the view. I keep saying just. This isn't as straightforward as I'm making it sound. All right, so let's get into the view generator, and let's go see where it makes that get statement path. Get statement path. Statement view. This says resource views. Oh, okay. That's not exactly what I was after. If exists path, skip, otherwise create path. Wait, something's missing here. Replace dot with, oh, you know what? This too is based on what's in your fixture. Let's go look at this. Yeah, see, I just say users and posts create here, and this works the way I want it to. Okay, so that's not even necessary either. Okay, so this is all kind of a moot point. Okay, let's back off that for a second. Let's bring in just my stuff here for the controllers. So we put that back to slug. We now check that, and we do not want that. No. No. Yes. And we need to bring in our tests, fixtures, routes only. All right, git commit -m. This is generate plural routes. Git push origin head. And let's nav that. And then while we're waiting on that to run live, let's just go, I think we're gonna go ahead and merge this. So let's just like clean this up. So first of all, we're no longer going to say plural names anymore because this only now applies to plural routes. So let's just say plural routes, because that's what it is. And then let's say by default, Blueprint will use the controller name. Yeah, okay, so by default, Blueprint will use the controller name we'll use the controller name, the lowercase, or what is this? Yeah, let's just get technical. What did I actually use? Kebab? Yeah, kebab. Okay. We'll use the kebab case of the controller name as the, or for the route name. If you would like to ensure a plural name is used, you may set this to true. Okay, I think that's a start. All right, a model named post will create an API resource route definition with a base slug as post previously. Okay, so we don't have to worry about all the previous stuff. Yeah, okay. So by default, Blueprint will use the kebab case of the controller name for the route name. I feel like that's kind of backwards. By default, Blueprint will generate a kebab case route name from the controller name. If you would like to ensure a plural name is used, you may set this to false. If you would like to ensure a plural route name is used, you may set this to true. Again, it's plural, pluralize route names. All right. Oh yeah, I changed the name. Git commit -m tweak config. All right. I think that should be good. I think these should be passing. Let's go find out. And if so, we're going to go ahead and merge everything. So I thought I pushed some stuff up, but I guess I didn't. Let's hit refresh. Okay, so it's running now. As soon as this passes, which it should because it just passed a second ago, we'll go ahead and merge this. So let's go ahead and take a look at that other PR. So that'll take care of that. And again, same thing here. Supposedly, this is all passing. So really, it's just a matter of doing kind of what I said here. You know, making sure that we have some, you know, tests and so forth that kind of do the right thing here. And maybe we do. So let's take a closer look at this. I don't like that that's getting changed. Oh, never mind. They use constraints. True. Yeah. See, I never like it when they change the original. When they change the original thing. I'd like to. So I'd probably revert that personally. Because see, you shouldn't have to change that for anything to get tweaked, because that's why this got changed. They're trying to kind of overlap. Yeah, see, I don't like, why are the README examples? I don't like that the existing examples are getting changed. I don't want to see configuration get added to those. So I am going to end up tweaking this just a bit. All right. So we'll get back to that next. Let's see this pass though and get it merged. We're close. We're close. I'm going to get a drink. What time is it? Yeah, wait, I think I could do the other one in 15 minutes. It's really just getting the proper tests, because it does seem to me like they have a good foundation. So good, that'd be good. All the PRs are closed, and I got what, 3 things merged here. We got the anonymous migrations. We got all that other stuff. Yeah, if I get this other one done pretty quick, I think what I'm going to do is make sure Pint is part of the build, because I think we just use the Laravel. I think it just uses Laravel's code style CI, I think, which is totally cool. I'm going to keep style CI, but I just want to see what it uses. Doesn't seem like anything's configured, so my guess is it just uses Laravel. I don't know. I don't know what it uses. Let's find out. Can you find out somewhere? Style PR is passed. Style CR push details. Details? What is this? What is it like? Where do you configure that? I thought you had like a... I don't know which code style it's using. I don't have one specified here necessarily. Am I crazy? Is it in like the config somewhere? Sort packages? No. I don't know which one it's using. Again, I assume Laravel or just like a PSR 12. Do I say in like the contributing guide? Don't even have like a contributing section. Whatever. I don't know what it's using, but I'm gonna run it through Pint when we're done, or Pint, whatever the hell people call it. I'm always gonna call it Pint. That's just how it is. The name's origin is PHP and lint. That's what Nuno says. It's just like pest. He made PHP and test, pest, you know. So by the same kind of naming and logic, if you're gluing those words together and you're taking a P and the original word was lint, then it's Pint. But the word itself is pint. So I don't know. I'm just gonna call it Pint. I'm a boomer, I guess. Come on, Mac OS. Just like my machine, it is slow. Okay, well I have faith that that's going to work. So in the meantime, let's get those command line instructions again, and I'm gonna borrow this. Okay, good, we did pass. Let's squash merge that. See you later. Kaboom. Dunzo. Again, we can clean that up down the road. So let's do git checkout master, git pull, git checkout -b. This is going to be inline config, and I want to pull all their stuff down. Supposedly it's already up to date. That doesn't make any sense, probably because I missed a critical piece. I think you need this as well. Let's try that again. Boop. There we go. That's more like it. Again, I think we're getting that merge because master has since been updated. So let's do a git push origin head. Go ahead and get that PR set up. So same drill. This supersedes. Did I spell it right this time? No, I didn't. God, how do you spell supersedes? Oh, it is 2 S's. Okay. This supersedes, blah, blah, blah. All right, create pull request, and let's change that to be support inline configuration. Save. All right, cool. So we got all that stuff. It's going to run the tests. Good. And so based on what we were looking at last time, let's just kind of clean up some of those old tests. So I'm fine with the config lexer. That's all fine with me. Blueprint test. It parses the README example. I think their test cases are honestly really wrong. Yeah, instead of making their own test cases, they kind of like use them in line, and I don't know if I want to see that done that way. So I think here's what I'm gonna do. Any file they changed that existed, I'm gonna check it out. Git checkout master dash that. Okay, we got blueprint test. We got the migration generator. That's a brand new file, so I don't want to change that. The configuration test is good. I do want to pull that and the README example. And again, relationships configured is fine because it has the config. And I want to, whoops, too far. The README example. And what's this last one doing? Yeah, relationships. I want to pull that back out. What do you mean you didn't? Oh, I copied the wrong thing. Where's controller configured? Why did I copy that? I always forget the command to skip like an entire word. I know to delete a word, it's Control W, but I always forget to skip back and forth. Let's say revert changes to existing test cases. All right. Now theoretically, this shouldn't affect anything. All the tests should still pass, theoretically. If they don't, then to me that means that somewhere in the code they've made a change that, you know, does something it shouldn't. Again, we shouldn't be required to do this here. This got changed because they changed this configuration in line here. So let's kind of see where we land with this. If it passes, then I feel like it is mergeable, but we would want to maybe write a few more tests, because right now there's really only one added test, this relationship's configured, that demonstrates that the config can come across. So I think it'd be nice to see, you know, this it'd be nice to see this kind of get used in a different way. So let's see where it is being used to that point while we're waiting on GitHub to run. All right. And so it uses app path and namespace config from YAML override. Perfect. This is perfect test. Let's just say we'll just say from inline configuration. There we go. So okay. So it demonstrates that this got used from that stuff. Good. Okay, and what is this? This is just a config lexer, so it demonstrates exactly what we want. So again, if the tests pass, then I think this is fine. It's fine to merge because it's showing that all the previous tests, you don't need any configuration. You can use what's already in the test and, you know, what's configured that way through the app config. But if you put a config in here, such as this, you know, it honors it. So I think that's good. I think that's a fine enough test for now. If something's broken, then we'll write more test cases for that. So let's just kind of clean this up. Uh-oh, we're at an hour. Let's make sure to turn that on for just a little bit longer. And in the meantime, it looks like our tests are passing, so that's good. So let's just do this, git add -p, We'll just change that name, no big deal. We'll add some white space, so this should be completely innocuous. Git commit -m. We'll just say, whatever, formatting, git push origin head. And last thing I want to do is let's get in this runner and let's do, I would have to go look. What are we doing here? I was trying to see if which code style is being honored. Is it simply PSR 12 or is it something else? Because we don't have anything defined. In the meantime, let's just composer global require Laravel pint. All right, and then let's just run pint, and it's going to start changing stuff. Let's just see what it ends up changing. If it's changing white space characters and all sorts of stuff, which it looks like it is, I'll do this separate and tweak the workflow and style CI to better adhere to it. But it seems like it's doing way more than we want it to do. So let's shut down Docker. Git diff. Yeah, it's drawing in those operators and stuff. There are definitely some things that I do like out of here, but I don't like that. So I'm gonna leave pint out of here for now. We'll just say, yeah, that can be something we do in a future stream at the very end. But again, I think this demonstrates that this is pretty good. So we're past an hour now. I'm gonna go ahead and slow things down. But again, I've already kind of gone through these issues. So let's just see if anything I worked on today. New Dremel. Okay, yeah, so this has been merged. So we'll say merged, or well, you know what? We'll get that closed here in a second. So that one's out of here. And then plural route naming convention. This should have just been, yeah. This should have been superseded. Yeah, 574. Merged in 574. Cool. Close with comment. All right, so we got that one done. So we got 2 of these done. So as soon as I can merge this one, we go ahead and close this one. Close. So we're down to just this. Whoops. We're down to just one. Come on now, let me do it. Oh, good, it did. Okay, cool. Let's close that. Awesome. Okay, we are down to 0 PRs, and we should be down to 13 of these. So we'll say, what did I just add? Merged in 548? No. 575? Yeah, there it is. Close with comment. Okay, cool. So we are down to 13. Now I've gone through these. Some of these just came in, or this one at least relatively recently. We talked about this. I'm not going to do it. So close. And then, so these ones that are marked Hacktober are ones that I'm definitely planning on working on during these future streams. So if you have ideas for additional stuff in future streams, feel free to submit an issue. If there is one of these issues that exists out here that is not marked as Hacktober, hey, take it upon yourself to use Hacktober to kick it out. So yeah. So again, I don't know based on that if the goal is going to be to get to absolute 0 on the issues, because again, I think there's probably some value in some of these. But I'm going to start with these Hacktober ones, and then we'll kind of see what happens with some of this other stuff. I don't know if I use some of these things the way these other people are talking about, and some of these are even my own stuff from way back as just a general enhancement. So again, I will focus on the Hacktober ones in next Wednesday's stream. We'll pick one. If you got one you're really after or you really like, you know, let me know. But I think I'll probably work with a couple of these because I think I remember these two are actually pretty close together. So next week I'll start working on 2, and hopefully I'll just do 2 and 2 and 2, and we'll get a couple done each time. And by the end of the month, this will be hopefully to 0, or at least just a couple from the recent month here. So with that, thanks everybody for joining live, and I will see you all next time.